Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Hi, welcome to the Dan Bongino Show. Producer Joe, how are you today?
I'm always glad to be here, Daniel.
Yes, it is good today. We got a ton going on. And yesterday, I hate when I do this. I told you I was going to say something, and I didn't say it on the show because I was so excited about yesterday's show and wanted to get so much information I missed something. Yeah. So I will backtrack and cover the Manafort thing today, which I didn't mention, and why I think it's so significant. It was a critical piece. I'm a little upset at myself. Thank you to all the email feedback on the show. And thank you for all the feedback, folks. I made a big announcement yesterday. This coming Monday, I will be starting my video show. For those of you who have been asking, it'll be on NRA TV. It's available for free. There's no payment, no paywall, nothing. It'll be available at NRATV.com. NRATV.com. It'll be at 5:30 Eastern Time. That's 5:30 p. Eastern Time. Starting next Monday. So I'll be promoting it all week this week, doing some live content at 5:30. It won't be the full-length show, but I'll be on today at 5:30 p. as well on NRATV.com. So thanks to everyone for your patience. I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming, but I'm happy to be over there.
All right.
All right. Here's what I want to get to today. I've got a really critical piece on why the Second Amendment debate is absolutely guaranteed to hurt liberals in the long run, to hurt them electorally speaking. They can't win, folks. And I've done this a bit before and got tremendous feedback, but I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to also get into an absolutely awesome piece I saw that I'll have at the show notes about the difference between, Joe, violence and aggression. This is important. It's a critical conversation, and it was really well said and echoes a speech I gave a long time ago, but I think it says it a lot better. So I'm going to get into that. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be a terrific show today. I put a lot of work into today's show. Today's show brought to you by our buddies at iTarget. Thank you to everybody who supports our sponsors. The iTarget Pro system is the best system out there to practice in the safety and security of your own home, to practice your marksmanship. Listen, anybody can fire a firearm. The only question is, can you fire it accurately? Folks, God forbid you're engaged in a self-defense scenario and you have to engage with a firearm. You have to be able to hit what you're shooting at. The iTarget Pro system allows you to do that in the safety and security of your own home. Now, the range is important. Of course, we want to live fire when we can, but sometimes it's just not practical. Either you have to drive to get there, you can't get there, there may not be a range that's local. It can get expensive. You have to clean your weapons afterwards. That's all great. You should do it, but it's not available to you, most of us, every day or even every week. The iTarget Pro system allows you to do this in the safety and security of your own home. Here's what they'll send you, and this is what this is. It is a laser round you will drop in the firearm you have now. You have a 9mm round. They will 9mm weapon. They will send you a 9mm round. It is, once you've safely unloaded your weapon, check it twice, check it 3 times, finger probe it, as they say, stick that pinky in that chamber, make sure it's empty. You will drop that laser round in there. It is not an active live round. But when you then pull the trigger of your weapon, it'll send you a target too. It'll send a laser downrange, a laser onto the target. So you'll see where that dry fire round would have went. It takes your dry fire practice to the next level. This is the coolest thing out there. I get tremendous reviews on this. I send the reviews back over to the iTarget team. They're really terrific. The website is itargetpro.com. That's the letter I. Not the organ. The letter I, targetpro.com, itargetpro.com. Pick it up today. Use promo code Dan. You'll save a terrific 10%. By the way, competitive shooters who do this for a living, dry fire 10 times more than they live fire. This is the way to take your dry fire practice to the next level. All right. So yesterday I mentioned Manafort. Just quickly on this.
Yeah.
Folks, the Democrats they're in a panic right now, okay? Their memo was a disaster. We discussed that in yesterday's show. The memo basically confirmed the worst parts of the FISA abuse process. The memo confirmed that the court was never told about Hillary Clinton and the DNC paying for the information used to spy on Trump. It also confirms that the FISA court basically used the dossier the FISA court made its decision based on the FBI using the dossier, which is a critical distinction there. The dossier put them over the probable cause fence, despite the fact that the information was false. Folks, this is critical now. The Democrats are starting to realize that this is going to blow up on them, that this is they can't sustain this forever. And why? Because there are court records. There are court records. There are transcripts of what happened. I said this yesterday. So I had said to you, I said, pay attention to Manafort. Pay attention to Manafort. Here's what's going on. In yesterday's show notes, I put a piece by Andy McCarthy, and this is where he makes a really great point that I had missed. He says this attention on Manafort and his partner, Rick Gates. And to be clear on who they were, because I don't want to lose you, just remember, this is a very simple case. The Obama team spied on the Trump team, and they used false information to do it. That's all. Don't get lost. If you didn't listen to 628 on, this isn't like The Walking Dead or something where if you miss season 1 through 7, nothing makes sense. This is a very simple case. The Obama team spied on the Trump team and used bad information to do it. Bad information paid for by Trump's opponents. That is the essence of the case. Don't get lost in the wonkery. One of the vehicles they used to spy on the Trump team was a campaign manager brought on at the time in Paul Manafort and his partner, Rick Gates. Mm-hmm. Make sense, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Simple stuff, right?
Yep. Easy.
Why is Manafort important? Because their narratives continue to fall apart. They're having a tough time, ladies and gentlemen, justifying why, in fact, they threw the Fourth Amendment out the window and spied on a presidential candidate. So first it was Papadopoulos, then it was Carter Page, then it was Papadopoulos again, then it was Carter Page. In other words, they keep going, well, this guy did something and that guy did something. The problem is they can't find the something they did. Because the something they did is based on false information. Remember, Papadopoulos pled guilty to lying to federal agents, not to Russian collusion. They can't find it anywhere. So the Democrats, I argued yesterday, are buying time right now. They're buying time by putting nonsense memos out there. Yep. They're just buying time because they need to transition to the new boogeyman. Mm-hmm. And the new boogeyman is going to be Paul Manafort. Now, there's a good body of credible evidence that Manafort may have been involved in some shady dealings. I don't mean to downplay that at all.
Right.
Unlike Page and Papadopoulos, where the evidence is, I think, pathetic at best, speaking as a former agent myself, there is evidence against Manafort. Now, he is entitled to a presumption of innocence like anyone else, and he should be entitled to his day in court. I don't know Paul Manafort. I don't recall at any point even crossing paths with him. I've definitely never met him, and I don't know his partner, Rick Gates. But he is going to be the new boogeyman. And McCarthy makes the point in one of his pieces, and I'm summarizing it, not as well as he does in his piece, but it's in yesterday's show notes, that, Joe, the transition to this attention on Manafort is going to be the special counsel Bob Mueller's way of redeeming the FBI. What do I mean by that? What do I mean? It's careful. Be very careful that you get the takeaway here, Joe.
Yeah. Okay.
Mueller, you see where I'm going with this, right? Yeah. Mueller right now sees the writing on the wall. Bob Mueller is a special counsel, former FBI director, a practiced attorney and prosecutor. Bob Mueller is a very smart guy. I don't agree with a lot of what he's doing. Matter of fact, I think his investigation has been entirely corrupted by people inside who have alternate interests outside of justice. But having said that, Bob Mueller is not dumb. Don't for a second think otherwise. Mueller understands right now that collusion is a myth. It didn't happen. Folks, you can't fabricate a story. It either happened or it didn't. In this case, it didn't happen. Mueller, being a former G-man himself, former director of the FBI, now understands, and I think enmeshed deeply in the swamp himself, Mueller has to save the reputation of the Justice Department, save the reputation of the FBI, and I think there's a little bit of anti-Trump animus here. Maybe not so much with him, but unquestionably with his team, specifically his top pit bull, Andy Weissman, who we know can't stand Trump. He was present at Hillary's election night thing. He emailed Sally Yates, Andy Weissman, congratulating her, the former deputy attorney general, for refusing to enforce Trump's travel ban. He congratulated her, like, hey, good job. You gave the middle finger to Trump. Nice work. So we know there's anti-Trump animus on the team. What they are trying to avoid here is they are trying to avoid making Trump look like a martyr. So what they're going to do, Joe, to justify this debacle of a spying operation, and even bigger debacle of an investigation into a collusion crime that never happened, even though collusion isn't even a crime, is they're going to come back and go, well, look, this Manafort was a really bad guy.
Yeah.
And we got him for this with Ukraine and this on tax evasion and this on money laundering and all this stuff. And therefore, the attention of the Trump team was warranted. Keep in mind, This likely has nothing to do with Russian collusion at all. But they need a boogeyman, and the boogeyman keeps changing. Remember the 30,000 foot. The Obama team spied on the Trump team. They had no evidence to do it. The Democrats need to buy time to distract you from the fact that they basically used the Constitution as toilet paper and threw the Fourth Amendment out the window. So they have to find a boogeyman. Look, George Papadopoulos was in a bar.
This is called the case of the changing boogeyman.
Case of the chain is. It's like this is like, remember Friday the 13th? Yeah. They were like, Jason keeps coming back. Yeah. This one, it's a different Jason every time. Actually, you know what? There is a difference because in the first Friday the 13th, the killer's the mom. Actually, people forget about that. Remember? The first Friday the 13th, the killer's the mom. Right, it's not Jason, right? But this is you're right, Joe. It's a good point. It's the changing Jason each time. Yeah. Jason number 1, George Papadopoulos. Jason number 2, Carter Page. Jason number 3, Paul Manafort. Jason number 4, Rick Gates. Joe's doing it. Norman Bates from side. You remember the shower scene? Yes. This is it every time. And Manafort, I think Mueller. Joe, am I clear on this though?
Yeah.
Manafort. Yeah. I think Mueller understands is the one with the most evidence of criminal baggage. Again, the presumption of innocence, unlike other people involved in this case, I believe in the Constitution. Give him his day. If he's found guilty in court, we should all roundly condemn it. Mm-hmm. But until then, he is presumed innocent. That's how we work here. We don't do lynch mobs, okay, folks? That's not the way this works. I'm just telling you, based on the evidence I've seen, most of it, by the way, which is publicly available through court filings, as I said, it seems there is, at a minimum, some evidence of some crime for Manafort, and they will seamlessly move on to Manafort being a boogeyman, Joe. And McCarthy, in closing on this, because I want to wrap this up, I got a lot to do today. In closing, McCarthy says this is going to be the way that the Democrats leave everybody cold. Because, Joe, in the end, just like Benghazi, this is me kind of adding some commentary, but just like Benghazi, just like Fast and Furious, just like the IRS, nothing's going to happen. I don't mean to disappoint. I'm telling you, McCarthy's premise is that everyone's going to be disappointed in the end. Mm-hmm. The Democrats will be disappointed because, in a way, they were called out for abuses of the Fourth Amendment. The Republicans are going to be disappointed because the Democrats come back and are going to be, well, maybe we abused the Fourth Amendment, but look, Manafort, got convicted in a trial. You get what I'm saying, Joe?
Yeah.
Which, again, is kind of like really crappy for everyone. Like, justice definitely doesn't win the day. Now, one final thought on this overall story arc we've been doing since 628, where our audience has exploded. And thank you so much to everyone who spread the word. Our audience has almost like tripled. Yeah, thank you so much. And we've held it, which is, I always worry about that. Give me feedback on this on Twitter, or you can email us. I'm thinking of doing a timeline show to kind of wrap this up. It's been a while.
Cool.
But not a special. I mean, it'll be a show like any. We're not going to like tape it 2 days early. But I'm thinking of doing that maybe on Monday or something, Joe, doing a timeline show where we just calmly and collectively walk through an entire timeline and sum the entire thing up. Not to put a capstone or something on episode 628 forward, but to reorient people, because yes, it is a simple case. The Obama team spied on the Trump team without evidence to do it. Yes. But there's a lot of nuance to it in between that's fascinating. And there's things I'm coming up with every day. I saw something the other day that surprised me. And this is why I thought of the timeline show. You know how Mike Rogers tells Trump after the election, and it is Mike Rogers, the NSA director, tells Trump, I believe he did, during their meeting at Trump Tower, that there was some spying going on, and the Trump team evacuates Trump Tower,
right,
and goes up to Bedminster. For those of you who listen and missed that point, it's a fascinating turn in the case. But another meeting happens later on at Trump Tower, and I'm puzzled by it. And I thought if we did a timeline and we walk through it, maybe we can crowdsource to the listeners. So give me your feedback on it. I think it would be fascinating to walk it through over the course of an hour, put the facts together in a timeline. And by the way, the timeline I have it already because, again, the book, Matt Palumbo and I, is almost done.
I like the idea, by the way. I think the listeners would like it. Yeah.
Well, your feedback matters, Joe. Okay, this is important. I've got a lot of other stuff to get to. But today's show also brought to you by our buddies at Filter By. Listen, folks, your HVAC system's working overtime. It was really cold this winter. It's going to be working overtime for me because as the spring comes around down here in Florida, you get a lot of pollen, allergy aggravating.